here with us today. We have some hot topics to cover. And before we jump into them, I would love it if you would share with everyone who's listening today a little bit about yourself. How long have you been with Blakeman? You know, what's your role? Tell us.
Well, I've been with Blakeman almost, right at 10 years now. This is my 10th year here. I come from a big HR background. Anything from payroll in the agricultural business to what I'm doing now. I'm consulting from multiple companies in almost every single industry there is. I have a love for HR and learning new things. I'm the senior HR and DOT specialist here at Blakeman. You're
the girl in charge.
Yes.
That's right. And you keep us up to date on everything new and crazy and exciting going on. So let's get right to our topics today. These are trending topics in Texas. Very important that we're seeing. So the first one is permitless, I'm going to say that right, permitless gun carry here in Texas. What is the new gun law?
So the new gun law, they refer to it as constitutional carry. And what they've done is Governor Abbott has signed it. It goes into effect in September. And starting September 1st, you can carry a gun in the state of Texas without having to what they used to call a concealed handgun license. Then they changed it to an LTC, which is licensed to carry. Now you don't require a permit or a license to carry. So it's going to put a lot of strain on people that sell guns, because they're going to have to ensure that the background check is done and it comes back, because you can't legally sell a firearm to somebody who's got mental health issues or is a convicted felon. So what we want to make sure employers know is if you are going to allow employees to carry, and even if they just bring it in their vehicle, in their personal locked vehicle, you need to know if there's going to be a weapon on the premises. So even if it's locked, you should be running a background check on your employees. You need to make sure that you have the serial number and the make and the model on file, so that if there is something that does happen in the workplace, you're able to alert authorities and give them information on the weapon involved, or whatever emergency officials come in. It's going to be up to the employer to make sure they do these background checks annually at least, because if you have an employee that comes back with a felony conviction, that's an issue right there. So you can also make a rule in the workplace that, hey, I don't want anybody with a criminal record carrying on my property. So if your background check doesn't come back clean, you're not allowed to carry on the property. So, and it's important to note that, a company vehicle is an extension of the company. So that means no weapons in company vehicles, unless the employer is authorizing it.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. So let me ask you, we have some questions emailed in from our clients, and can they stop people from carrying on premise? I think you answered that. We as employers can say no guns.
You can say no weapons in the workplace. Absolutely. Okay. That's your right to do so.
Okay. Do we have to put posters up?
So we're waiting to see if there's going to be new poster guidance. Right now, if you are 51% establishment, which means 51% of your sales come from alcohol. Obviously, weapons cannot be carried unless you hold a peace officer's license or something that's the equivalent of that. That's not going to change. So there's the 30-06 and the 30-07 signs is what they refer to them as. Now, those signs are probably going to change now that there is no, concealed handgun license needed. It's open carry, but now it's what's called constitutional carry. So we're waiting to see if the state of Texas comes up with some new signage requirements. As of today, there is none.
Okay, good to know. We will keep them updated. As employers, do we have to run drug tests and background checks if we are allowing the guns?
So there's no, drug and alcohol testing is going to have no effect here. You want to still make sure you're doing reasonable suspicion, random drug testing per whatever your written drug and alcohol policy is. That shouldn't change just because somebody, owns a gun and whether or not you allow guns on property. We recommend a background check at least annually, if not, twice a year, every 6 months, just to ensure that somebody has not, gotten a felony conviction, which they should notify the employer anyways, prior to them finding out from a background check. But yes, if you are allowing weapons on the property, you need to make sure you're running a background check so that you don't have a convicted felon carrying a weapon.
Yes, very smart. Yes. Protect yourself. Okay, good to know. Okay, so the second trending topic right now, it's really hot. I heard some employers talking about this Friday night. Adverse reaction to employer mandated vaccine. So I mandated the COVID vaccine for my employees, and now someone is having an adverse reaction. What does that mean?
So there's a couple things to think about here. So OSHA's come out with some guidance to clarify things for employers. If you are requiring your employees to be vaccinated and they have an adverse reaction, normally that would be considered a work-related illness because you required it. However, they have waived the recording requirements. So you don't have to put it on your OSHA log through May of 2022. They said May of next year, they're going to come back and they're going to reevaluate that. But also keep in mind, when you have an employer mandated vaccine and they have an adverse reaction, and God forbid it's something that becomes a permanent disability, the only place that they're going to be able to look to turn to sue is going to be you, the employer, because the vaccine makers they have 100% immunity from any type of lawsuit against them.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So this happened in the Woodlands recently. I know of a case. And the young woman is having some nerve damage. Her arm is just, it's awful. Does the employer, count that time as sick time? Like, the questions have come in, how do we handle that? Is that PTO? What does that mean for me as the employer?
So if you're requiring it, an employer should provide PTO for the time it takes to get the COVID vaccine, and also any time it takes to recover from an adverse reaction. While none of this is required, it's a best practice as an employer. You're requiring them to get it done. You should be taking care of your employee during that time. I wouldn't drain their own PTO that's been accrued. I think it's something that needs to be supplemental and given on top. And that's why we push employers to suggest the vaccine and not mandate it. Certain industries, I can see why it would be mandated. Most, unless you're in a manufacturing facility or in a hospital type facility and there's no way to social distance, that's about the only situations that I would see mandating the vaccine. As of today, all of Methodist Hospital in Houston employees were to be vaccinated. 117 of them got together and they have filed a lawsuit against Methodist Hospital because they did not want to get the vaccine. So like I said, that was filed today and it's gone public and it's going to get lots of media attention. So it'll be interesting to see which way the courts side.
Yes, that will be. We'll keep our clients updated. Okay, so the last point on that was, can we offer our employees an extra day off if they get the vaccine? Can we offer them money? Can we offer them something else as an incentive to incentivize them going and getting the vaccine?
So the EEOC has come out and they've given additional guidance for employers. Employees can give incentive programs to push their employees to get vaccinated. The problem is it kind of need to be like nominal, like a couple hours PTO, maybe a half day off, but nothing more than that. You can give money to their health spending account or things of that nature. Look at their cafeteria plan contributions, helping them on the wellness side. However, keep in mind that you cannot give an incentive for an employee's relative to get vaccinated, because what happens then is it is a GINA violation. So there's certain protections based on your genetic makeup, and employers can't make decisions based on genetic makeup. So by offering incentives to family members, that just can create a red zone you don't want to cross into. It's much easier to not do that at all.
Gotcha. Proceed with caution.
Yes.
Instead of mandate,
urge them, give them some incentives, some time off. And another issue that's come up a lot lately is, well, my vaccinated employees don't have to wear masks, but my unvaccinated ones have to wear masks. Our guidance is, if you're going to require masks in the workplace for one side, you should need to just go ahead and keep them all wearing masks if they can't socially distance, because you see these news stories and it has not been proven yet that somebody who is vaccinated cannot still transmit it to somebody else who's unvaccinated. Your vaccine protects yourself. So you got to keep that in mind. This is a very new, infection. We don't really know a lot about it. Even the top, doctors in the United States and researchers don't know a lot about it. And the guidance keeps changing. So if you're going to require masks in the workplace, require them across the board.
That's a really good point, because that happened somewhere. And I heard the employees bickering about who was vaccinated, who was not. Why did she get to wear a mask? Oh yeah. So that's a very good point. Very good point. Okay. Our last trending topic is a big one. Texas opts out of federal unemployment assistance. So what does this mean for me as the employer?
So say you have employees that you had to lay off or furlough and you're trying to bring them back into the workplace now because things are starting to pick up. But for whatever reason, your loyal employee doesn't want to come back to work. Well, because on top of their unemployment, they're making an additional $300 a week from the federal government to not do anything. And that $300 is not contingent on them searching for jobs or things like that, where their unemployment from the state is. But federal unemployment, there's no way, they're not verifying it. So essentially all these employees are getting an additional $300 every week. That's not much incentive to come back to work because they don't really have to do anything. I mean, they're required to do 2 online job searches. Takes a total of 10 minutes once a week. Yeah. That's it. Right. So this should help reintegrating people back into the workforce. Keep in mind, if you have any gig workers, like if your company utilizes DoorDash or something like that, they're also going to be losing their pandemic unemployment assistance as well. So that's going to be independent contractors, self-employed, and then gig workers. So I just hope that we'll be able to start restaffing. I mean, I'm sure you can look at every restaurant, in town, and everybody has a now hiring sign. So
yeah, so seasonal employees, they're not going to be able to stay on, like they need to come in and, okay. We had some questions around this. What do I have to do? Do I have to give notification to my employees that this is happening? Do I have to fill out any forms?
To the employees. If you happen to know one of your employees, maybe who had their hours reduced, maybe give them the heads up, just, as being a helpful employer. Because it could affect them. They have bills to pay still, and their hours may still be cut with you, and so that's why they're obtaining it. But you can let them know, but you're not required to.
Okay. And do I have to fill out any paperwork to stop this from my employers, like employees? Do I have to fill out any?
But if you give a valid job offer to an employee and they refuse that valid job offer, the state of Texas would like for you to go onto TWC and report that they refused a valid offer of employment. Because what will happen is they will stop their unemployment benefits. They will no longer be eligible because you can't refuse a valid offer of employment and still obtain unemployment.
Okay. All right. This was great information. Stephanie, you're a world of knowledge. Okay, so we are going to be posting notes with this link to the video. So you guys, I should have said this in the very beginning, you'll be able to access and click that link down below and access Stephanie's notes for future use or questions. Also, like she said earlier, if we have any changes or as these laws evolve, we're going to be sending those out to our clients right away to keep you all informed. You all know how to get a hold of us, get a hold of Stephanie and our HR team. And Stephanie, anything else to close us out?
I think that's about it right now.
June's going to be a busy month for Texas.
Absolutely.
Thanks again. You're awesome as always. We really appreciate your knowledge and sharing it with us today.
All right. Thanks, Jen. Have a great day.